Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Maze. I am the Master of Mazes, Carl. With me, as always, is the apprentice, my son Steven.
What's going on?
So let's jump right into it. This is MazeCast episode number 30.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a couple weeks since we've recorded anything. We apologize. It's just life gets in the way, right? So
Yeah.
um, let's talk about our games that are going on right now. Our 5e games. I played Kingdom of Keshinar since we last met with all of you. We played on the Friday the 12th. We played again on Wednesday the 17th. So the recap for the episode that we did, or the session that we did on the 12th, is up now for you guys to read over on our website.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a link down in the show notes for you. I am working on the recap now for Wednesday's the 17th episode, so we'll have that up hopefully in the next few days for you. If you're keeping up with what the siblings are doing in the Egyptian themed world setting, Keshinar. Pretty fun game. We are having a lot of fun with it. We had a friend of ours, Darren, set in with us for a session because he was in from Kentucky to do some filming on a fan film in southern Georgia, which my wife is in. We could talk about that a little bit too, Stephen. And then we're going to talk about the Master and Apprentice campaign. We last played June 13th,
Mm-hmm.
so a week ago, and we had a great time. We have the recap up on the website now for you guys. That link will be down in the show description. Our next session is most likely going to be tomorrow. It was supposed to be today, but we had some things come up with some free tickets and some trips to King's Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
But two of our players went and had a blast with kids, so can't fault them for that. It is Father's Day weekend, so kids come first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so session will possibly be tomorrow. Be on the lookout for some shorts from the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan, our dad joke expert, is at it again. Holy crap! Um, so at 1 minute and 10 seconds into or 1 hour and 10 minutes into our
Mm-hmm.
session last time, Nathan started letting them fly
Yep.
and had us all in stitches. So we will share that with you guys. But be on the lookout for that recap for tomorrow night's episode as we get that up for you guys. Stephen writes that from the perception or the from the
Pers-
perspective of
yeah.
his character Albor. So it always is a great read. So check that out. Order the Flagon. Yeah, I can't. I don't know what to tell you. I've never had a group with so many scheduling conflicts in my life. Life gets in the way, and when you've got three players that have kids that are in after school activities and summer activities, it makes it nearly impossible to schedule a session. So
Yeah.
the struggle is real, but hopefully we'll get back to the table. I know there's talk about us possibly playing this Monday, but we'll see. So
Yeah, it's hard. It's
um,
hard with everybody with kids. I mean, normally the reason Dad
yeah,
and I can't record is like my job. I work, my hours are kind of crazy depending on what's going on because I'm in the IT field. So like this past week was just insane. I couldn't get even down here for a night to record. But normally our D&D nights are pretty set in stone unless something crazy happens. So
yeah,
it's always tough to get multiple grown adults in the same room.
it is. It really is. So, but I'm sure those of you who are watching and following along and who have
They
subscribed
already
are
know how it
probably
goes.
you know how it goes. So let's jump into some TTRPG news. They announced this past week. WoTC has announced that there is going to be a community advisory board. That is going to be headed up by Dan Ayub himself, who has made some big promises to stay in touch with the fans and the community and to listen to their feedback in moving Dungeons and Dragons in a more community friendly direction, which I am all for. I think that it would be greatly helpful to any and all developers to listen to their fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them total control, but definitely give them an opportunity to have their voices heard so that they can be part of the direction that your product takes. So, my hats off to Dan for doing that. Um, the goal is basically for them to open up a dialogue between the community and the developers and designers, and this was formed with the goal of helping D&D move in the right direction from a community perspective. So it's going to include people who play the game, people who teach others how to play, people who run stores where D&D is played, and some D&D content creators and YouTubers. Most notably, the guys from over at the Dungeon Dudes are both going to be part of this community outreach program. So interesting to see what comes out of this. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open, and as we hear things, we'll kind of feed that over to you guys. So, um, but holy cow, Catalyst Games, Catalyst Game Labs. I don't know how many of you are familiar with them. If you play BattleTech, you're very familiar with them. They basically got the rights to BattleTech a few years back and have been going like gangbusters, revitalizing the BattleTech community and revitalizing that game, which I have played since the 80s when it was originally owned by FASA.
Mhm.
It's a fun game, basically giant stompy robots that blow stuff up. So it's a very lore rich game world. If you're not familiar with it, I definitely would suggest you checking it out. They have free starter packs and things like that over on Catalyst Game Labs. But we wanted to talk tonight about a little something different that Stephen brought to my attention that I was not aware of. Stephen, take it away.
Frostpunk RPG. The reason I know Frostpunk is they have multiple games on PC. I've played Frostpunk 1 and 2. I actually have the game on my cell phone, which you won't be able to see. But Frostpunk is a game, is a series or a setting I'm aware of just because of video games. So when I heard that there was a tabletop game that was going to be set in the, or an RPG set in the genre, that piqued my interest because the games are incredible. Frostpunk 2 on my PC is like one of my favorite games to go back to. When new games let me down, inevitably, I always kind of have a roster of games I like to jump back to. And Frostpunk's super fun. It's set in a futuristic kind of dystopian future society where the Earth has succumbed to a new ice age. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, it's got elements of Fallout, elements of like Metro. If you ever played the Metro games,
Yeah.
where it's just like futuristic. It's not quite as like sci-fi as Fallout can be, because it is like
Mm-hmm.
hyper realistic and it's a lot about, you know, like in your shelter, your survivors have conflicts with each other.
Yeah.
They can get sick. There's trying to get supplies, going out in the tundra and trying to get supplies. The games have been excellent, and to have a company like Catalyst kind of take on the reins of a well-established IP like Frostpunk for me is pretty exciting, because to be honest, even though BattleTech is kind of a sci-fi futuristic game, it still feels real. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
BattleTech to me feels more real than Star Trek does. And
Okay.
like why is that? I don't know. It seems like a more gritty, realistic take where the biggest threat
Right.
is not being able to understand the next move of your enemy, because those people, they're people, which for the most part
Right.
people are completely and utterly unpredictable. So, and like that's another reason I like State of Decay, which I could talk about that some other time. But
Oh,
State of
yeah.
Decay is
Yeah.
a zombie game where your biggest threat is kind of your own survivors and your own people, because they're unpredictable. They'll start fighting each
Yeah.
other and things like that. Where it's like there is an existential threat elsewhere in the zombies, or in this case, like in the environment of the frost. But like that's kind of like a plays background to interpersonal conflicts with your settlement, which I've always found really interesting. Because a lot of TTRPGs or RPGs in general, like it's like, oh, the threat is that giant dragon over there on the mountain. Like that's the problem.
Yes.
We need to go solve that. Whereas this is like, yeah, the world's like freezing and there's not a lot of food, but like your settlement starts fighting over food, or
Right.
or another settlement, it comes up nearby, and like, oh, we're gonna trade with them, but maybe one day they're gonna get sick of trading and they're just gonna come take our stuff, you know. And
Right.
but anyway, the games have been great. I'm sure this is gonna be good because Catalyst kind of they've got a really good track record, so I think it's gonna be very good.
That sounds like it sounds a lot of fun. I kind of like those hyper realistic
Me
games,
too.
especially when you kind of involve a survival element.
Hmm.
So anything like that, like like Fallout is a survival type game. But like you said, it's got a very sci-fi kind of futuristic quality
Yeah,
to it.
it's yeah. Yeah.
This sounds a little bit like Snowpiercer. I don't know if anybody's
That's
familiar
actually a
with the
great
movie.
that is a very good analogy there. Like
Yeah,
it's a lot like Snowpiercer.
yeah. The Snowpiercer movie with Chris Evans was amazing. I I know
The
they
show
did
is
it as
really
a
good.
television
The show's
series,
really
which I
good.
have
Yeah,
not.
it's very good. It's very good.
But I like that kind of concept of, hey, the world is kind of taken over by a new ice age, and now all the things we've taken for granted, we're struggling to find just to survive.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is appealing to me. It's a little dark for some people, but for a lot of people that like hyper realistic things, this is definitely sounds like something to be right up that alley. So,
Just a shout out,
um,
Frostpunk on Steam right now is 50% off. So if you ever wanted to
okay,
play or get into the universe and kind of understand where the RPG is going to go, It's on sale right now for $20. I put,
Wow.
according to my Steam, 149 hours into this game. So
Holy cow.
yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of fun. It looks like Catalyst is going to be basically utilizing Kickstarter to basically get this game funded, which they've had successful Kickstarters recently. My wife and I backed their Mercenaries box set Kickstarter for BattleTech, which we got a bunch of cool extras. Like I was showing Stephen earlier, we got this really cool challenge coin
Hmm.
that sits on my wife's desk because she is a big Ghost Bear fan. But we got some really cool add-ons, including mechs and aerospace fighters. And I got a Aerodani Light Horse, which is a mercenary unit. I got their challenge coin. And we got a beautiful box set with lots of maps and foldouts and things like that that are really kind of bring the game to life for us. We're a big BattleTech family. We read a lot of the novels and stuff. So the Kickstarter model for them has been very successful. So I imagine they'll have great success with this one too. So we'll be on the lookout. We'll watch this one as it kind of launches. So,
Hmm.
um, and speaking of yet another game coming out, let's talk about yet another Cthulhu game coming out. Cthulhu's getting love from WoTC and the new Ravenloft book,
Hmm.
but apparently he's got his own RPG coming out. Stephen, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this since horror is your bag?
Yeah, this is a new Call of Cthulhu adventure. So this is a complete adventure box set for that system, and it's called Eternity at Sea. What makes
Mhm.
this one particularly interesting is that it has been produced under the license directly from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, which is very
Wow.
cool. Because I mean, I don't think they're as picky as like maybe Tolkien or others, but they are pretty picky about what they will put their stamp on.
Oh
Um,
yeah, their prop sets are amazing.
yeah, the plot on this box set adventure: investigators are summoned to a family farm following a death in the family. They must navigate a strange will and diverse family agendas to cover or uncover a bizarre family history while facing otherworldly horrors trying to collect an old debt. That
Oh,
screams my name. That is exactly the kind of content
yeah,
I like to play in and dabble in. It seems like a classic supernatural whodunit, which is kind
yeah,
of HP's bag. So I think it sounds super fun. I mean, the Call of Cthulhu game is already extremely popular. So to have a new adventure be published in that kind of system that's already been well established is pretty cool. I'm pretty sure the Call of Cthulhu TTRPG is like number one outside of the U.S. in terms of TTRPGs. Like D&D
yeah.
runs the show here, but outside of the U.S., I think Call of Cthulhu
Call,
is
Call
the
of Cthulhu
highest
is
played game.
probably it's probably the most popular TTRPG across the pond.
I know it's like
Um,
top three. I think it's like second or first, depending on what year you look at.
yeah,
And I'm glad they're still publishing these expansions, and it's really cool to have like your source material, like the literal authority on your source material, sign off on a module for your game. I mean,
yeah,
that obviously shows the amount of work and the passion that went into the project. I love
that's right.
Lovecraft stuff, so I'm excited for that for sure. I've dabbled with, to give Dad a break here and there when he's running our game. I was thinking about running kind of an alternating game or the next game that we play, and I would do a different system, maybe like a Call of Cthulhu game. Um,
Okay.
I was thinking about Old Gods of Appalachia, which we've talked about, and
Yeah,
even maybe some Flintlock and Fog for our buddy over at
our
over
buddy
there.
David. Yeah,
Yeah, I actually talked to him on Friday. I sent him. I half filled out my Kickstarter surveys for him to send me my content.
right.
So he messages me and he was like, "Hey, I need your whole address, dude." I was like, "Oops." So I talked to him on Friday for a few. But anyway,
Right.
this falls kind of right into my wheelhouse of what I would feel comfortable running. D&D, I know I could. I mean, I could run something, but it just for me, it's like Dad runs it. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So this falls into the.
Do
I know anybody
you
can do it.
know?
I know that's the point.
Play to your strengths, but anybody can be a DM. All you've
Yeah.
got to do, I mean, if you guys want to know what it's like, read the most recent recap
Oh yeah.
of
Yeah.
watching a train go completely off the wheels
Yep.
when one
Yeah.
of your players does something you don't expect, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to let go and see where it goes,
Yeah,
and we'll
it's
just figure it
funny
out from there.
in my head. I was thinking, how funny would it be if this happened, and then Nathan did that thing, and I was like, I, if my character like was more aligned to do something like that, I would have done it, but I'm not. And he just did
No,
it, and like before I could even react, he had already done something. I mean, you read the recap because it's worth the read, but like,
read the recap. It's
oh
worth it
my
for the
god, man.
paragraphs. Nathan brings that. Nathan is normally the quietest player at the table,
Hmm.
but when Nathan speaks, it's either to bring levity or to bring that element of chaos that all DMs love and or fear, just depending on how it
He's
comes
he's a
out.
wild card for sure, man.
He really is. So,
But yeah,
so yeah, I think that if you wanted to run something, Steven, I'm totally down
it,
to
it would be
play.
it
I'm
would
sure
be something
everybody
like
else
this,
is.
or like a one shot. I really like the idea of a Flintlock and Fog campaign simply because like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
a Sherlock. Like over here, Dad's seen it. Like I've got this isn't even nearly all my stuff, but it's like Godzilla stuff, fantasy stuff, and then like a Sherlock corner, like right here.
yep.
And I'm a huge Sherlock nerd. So I think running a Flintlock and Fog campaign would be really fun.
It would be a
Um,
lot of fun, and I could just take my character Basil,
Yeah,
who I
exactly. When
have,
you'll have a freaking model, or you'll have an item in the book that we're getting, like
Basil's
your
bowler.
bowler. Yeah. So
Basil's
you could do
bowler.
that. And anyway, I'm really excited about anything Cthulhu related. I love H.P. Lovecraft. One of my bucket list trips is a trip to Lovecraft country up in the New England and
Ooh,
travel around and
okay,
get to see some of that stuff. Um,
very cool.
kind of the areas that have inspired H.P. Lovecraft in his day. So this obviously is in my wheelhouse. So hopefully that
Off,
is
off topic, but not completely off topic. Have
yeah.
you watched Dungeon Masters recently?
I have not watched the latest episode, but I know it is Lovecraftian in nature.
It's Lovecraftian. So basically, there was in their first season, there was a part where they all went into the water in this lake because their paper mache boat fell apart.
Yeah,
Imagine that. And they went into the water, and then they wake up on the shore and they
yeah.
have no recollection of what happened. Well, that was basically they're playing Call of Cthulhu Innsmouth, and they're basically using the Cthulhu from the new Ravenloft book, and they're in Innsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
So the first two episodes I watched it, incredible.
Yeah,
Definitely has that Lovecraftian horror vibe to it. So Stevie, you need to check those two
yeah. I
episodes
mean,
out. Episodes one and two are up now.
if everyone didn't know, Innsmouth will be an official canon domain of dread in the new Ravenloft, which
As it should
actually
be.
that comes out. That is out. Is it out now?
It
What
is
was the?
out.
Yeah.
It's out now, I believe.
So I don't I don't have it. I bought the collectors. I don't know if they're behind sending it or something. But
They're
anyway,
probably behind on shipping, but I think early releases hit some stores that hit some
because it was the
retailers did
16th,
pre-order.
right? It was the 16th.
16th, yep.
Yeah, so hopefully I get
So
it soon, so I can show you guys because I definitely ordered like the collectors, like the highest edition of it.
so you got like the Taroka deck and all that too.
Yeah, and like the DM screen that's got like
DM
the extended
screen
art.
and
Yeah,
the map pack and all.
I
Yeah.
got like the $175 one or
Yeah.
whatever.
So what is it? Game Masters, the guy that we follow over on YouTube,
Yeah, yeah.
he has posted a couple of reveals of the book, the Taroka deck, and
Hmm.
I think his next thing and he did the map pack as well. The next
Hmm.
thing he's going to show us is going to be the Game Master screen. But
Yeah,
so far so good. I like the art in the book. I like the art of the Taroka deck. It's not a rehashed Taroka deck. It has been redone. Some of the artwork and all has been redone on it. So it looks pretty good. Maps look pretty good. They look like they're printed on quality paper.
hmm,
I don't like the fact they're folded, but I mean they are printed on paper. So how else are you going to get them other than to
yeah,
fold them?
yeah,
Um, but something like that, if you really want to keep it up, you take it somewhere and have it laminated. So
yeah, yeah, for sure.
um, yeah, so definitely worth checking out his. We'll put a link down in the show notes for you guys to check out his page
Hmm.
where he's been talking about it recently. He just did a recent video on basically how to properly run folk horror at your table. So definitely worth checking out.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
talk about some movies, games, and some pop culture news. So Masters of the Universe, still haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
My wife has been a fan since the '80s. I have been a fan since the original, and the animation cartoon came on back in the day. Um, I've checked out all of the different animes that have come out throughout the years, and I'm just going to say it. I'm a big fan of the Dolph Lundgren live action movie. I know some people think it's cheesy. I like it because cheesy and campy is exactly how Masters of the Universe should feel. Um,
I'd
but
agree with
that
that.
being said, I've read reviews of people going to see it. They love it. Some people saying it's a little too campy, but the box office is not doing well. It kind of underperformed on opening weekend. The week after opening weekend, during the business week, it blew up. I don't know why, but this last weekend, not this weekend, but this past weekend, it apparently just really kind of tanked out. So it's going to basically be considered a flop, which does not bode well for the franchise, which is kind of sad because I know they put a lot of money into marketing. Lord, they had about 50 different um, popcorn buckets. They had a Gray Skull popcorn bucket. They had a Serpent Mountain popcorn
What
bucket.
started the popcorn bucket thing? Was it?
Um,
I feel like
so the
every
first
movie
one,
has a popcorn bucket now, and I don't understand it.
the very first one that I know of, and I'm sure I'm wrong, and I'm sure somebody will tell us down in the comments, was the D20 popcorn bucket for the D&D movie. And I have one of those. I had two, but we gave one away to somebody who wasn't able to get one. But we've got two. One of them sits in my game Hall of Games now. And I told the lady, don't you dare put popcorn in it. Just hand it to me and put the popcorn in the bag.
Uh huh.
Because that giant D20 sits in my Hall of Games because it's about as big as a basketball. Um, but that's the first one I recall it on. But then they did it for the Wolverine Daredevil movie.
It's like they've seemed to get like the last
Everywhere.
1 or 2 years. It's like every movie, or it's like it's a meme now. Like every movie will have one, even if it's stupid. And the
Yep.
first one
Even
I
if it's
remember
stupid.
was like the Dune one. Did they do one for
Mhm.
Dune? The second Dune?
Yep.
And like it just looked so stupid because it was like a worm.
Yeah,
It was
because
like the
it's the
sandworm.
sandworm, and yeah, and
It just
everybody
looked,
was saying it looked like a fleshlight.
yeah, it looked so dumb. And then it's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's funny. And then in like the next, and like Daredevil did, or not Dare, Deadpool and Wolverine did
Deadpool
one,
did one. Yep,
and it's like
and
that was like dumb,
but
you know?
I was surprised at the level of marketing they poured into this Masters of the Universe. Like I said, there was the Gray Skull, the Serpent's Mountain.
Yeah,
There was a Cringer or Battle Cat where
yeah.
he opened his saddle and it was filled with popcorn, and the thing
Well,
was huge.
I gotta be
And then
honest, like,
there was the power sort of power that you take the handle off and put a straw in it, and they fill the blade up with soda, and it's a drinking cup. I
I
mean, it's so
to be
crazy.
honest, like, to me that kind of fits because like Master of the Universe is kind of like it's fantasy and there's fighting and stuff, but it doesn't take itself like so serious that it's
No,
like,
no,
so it almost fits to have those kind of things. And I'm gonna see it like because I don't think the IP of He-Man and the Master of the Universe is like one that is gonna draw enough people to make a movie like a blockbuster hit. I don't think it's gonna
no,
happen.
no.
Um,
Well, I mean, the only person in it that well, there's two people in it that
Jared
people
Leto
know, but one of them, Idris Elba,
and
and
Idris
then
Elba.
of course Jay Leto. But you don't see Jay Leto because he's either in makeup or CGI.
Yeah,
So
I feel like I'm not gonna really judge it until I see it. Now I'm not gonna spend movie theater money to see it, but
no,
I don't spend movie theater money to see anything. But like
no,
I'm gonna see it,
yeah,
but it is one of those movies that's like I feel like on arrival, even if successful, it's gonna be a cult, like a cult classic.
I,
Even if it's
I think
good,
what's
it's
going to
never gonna
happen.
be mainstream.
Yeah,
It can't be.
I think what will happen is it's going to underperform in the theaters because it's so far out there. It doesn't really appeal to children
Yeah, and it doesn't
because
appeal
children
to
don't
like
know
Lord
who
of
it
the
is.
Rings nerds either.
Children
So
don't know
it's
who it
like
is.
so what does it
It's
do?
going to it's going to appeal to older people that
Yeah,
were around for the cartoon in the early 2000s,
right.
the 80s. People my age will go
Yeah.
see it. And a matter of fact, the folks over at Clownfish TV went and saw it, and they said that everybody that was in the theater were in their 50s and 60s. And those
Yeah.
are the people that watched the cartoon in the 80s.
Yeah, and
So,
those are also the people that are going to like it and not go online and say I loved it. They're just going to go home and be
yeah,
like I thought it was good. And they're not going to go
yeah,
online and be like
yeah.
this was the best. Y'all need to go see this movie. So if they're not
Mhm.
doing that, people aren't going to go see it. And like all the
I think where it's going to do well is on streaming. Once it hits streaming platforms, I think that's where it's going to find its
I
niche.
think in 5 years it'll be a cult classic. I think people are going to be like because I mean the 80s one like
Mhm.
it's not amazing in terms of quality, but people still love it because like that's the He-Man that you got. So you liked it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think this will be for people like for me because I remember the He-Man cartoon. Like I when I was
yeah,
like Master of the Universe cartoon was coming out when I was younger. So it's like
yeah,
I always thought like Lockjaw was super cool. I liked him a lot, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
you
love
know
it.
I'll
So
like the show or the movie, but like other people like if you didn't watch the cartoon, you weren't around for the original. I don't know how to explain it to you because it's just
it's
different. It's just
there's
different.
too much lore. There's too many characters that I'm going to know by name that the average person's going to go and they're going, "Who the hell's that?
Yeah,
Why are there so many characters?"
yeah,
Um, Let's talk about some television. Steven, you
Hmm.
had some news about Widow's Bay.
Yeah, I have not shut up about this show. If you haven't been watching Widow's
It's
Bay,
not.
I cannot recommend the show enough to you. I know Apple TV kind of doesn't have anything to watch on it. If you don't watch Monarch and you don't watch like Ted Lasso, there's like nothing to watch on there.
Mm-hmm.
I got Apple TV, like I got it for a month for free because we bought an iPad or something, and I watched Ted Lasso, which I really like, which is totally unrelated, but like I was just gonna let it run out, and then people at work kept telling me, and I've talked about this before, but people kept telling me, dude, you gotta watch Widow's Bay, you gotta watch Widow's Bay. And people tell me to watch a lot of stuff, and I'll watch it, and I think it's garbage, so I'm just like, yeah, whatever, and I ignore them. And they're like, hey, you got me onto the show From, you should watch Widow's Bay, it reminds me a lot of From. And I'm like, well, hang on a second, like From is an incredible show. And if this
Yeah.
is giving people From vibes, like maybe I should watch it. So I had a free afternoon and watched the first 3 episodes, binged them, didn't realize the show was still actively coming out until I got to the end and it's like switching me to another show. And I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a second. Where's the rest of my show? Well, it was still happening. Um, episode 10, the last episode of the season 1 just came out this past Wednesday. Watched it. I watched all of them the day they come out. They have been fantastic. The show is everything from a Stephen King, kind of like The Mist, all the way to like a Midnight Mass on Netflix, like coastal horror, Lovecraftian deal, all the way to like comedy. Like there's fun, there's parts in
Right.
it that I have laughed out loud watching. At the same time of just like very scary suspense thriller vibes throughout the entire thing. It is masterfully written. It's so good. I cannot recommend it enough. And I know everyone's like, "Oh, where is it at? Apple TV? Never mind," and they move on. They don't watch it because it's on
Yeah.
Apple TV. I totally get it. Find an excuse to spend $9 and watch it. Even if you watch it all in one day and just spend the $9 to get it for a month, watch Widow's Bay, and that's $9 well spent, and then cut it off and you're done.
While you're over there, watch Monarch Legacy.
Watch
Man.
Monarch,
It's
also a great
terrible
show. I
show.
mean, there's like 3 or 4 shows on Apple TV that I think are like must-watch television, which sucks because like obviously Netflix is like always expanding this mega space organization that is going to take over the universe. I know,
They're like the
but like,
Amazon of the streaming
yeah, I mean, it's
platform.
it's awful, but like, but the upside is there's always something to watch on Netflix, But
There is.
I'm telling you, Widow's Bay, I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. It was just renewed for season 2. The day that season 1 ended, they were like, by the way, the season 2 has been greenlit. We're doing it, which is incredible.
Awesome.
They like stealth dropped the last couple episodes unless like my TV is just possessed, but like it got to how like when you look at a show that's actively releasing,
Yeah.
you'll see the
Yeah.
episodes, you'll say, "Oh, next Wednesday you'll see them." Well, they had
Yep.
episode 1 through 8 from the get-go, like on that you could see them on there. So I thought there was only going to be 8 episodes.
Mhm.
And episode 8 ends like the next day. They're like, "Oh, episode 9 next Wednesday." I'm like, "Holy shit, they like stealth dropped an episode." So then, like, episode 10 came out, and it was like, oh my god, there's another one. And then I was really hoping, like, we'd get lucky, but they have been like, no, it's 10, it's done.
It's
Um,
done for now.
so,
But you got a
anyway,
second season coming.
yeah, I cannot wait. It's so, so good. So, I'm telling you, if you don't like it, your money back. I'm telling everyone a buddy of mine who's not even into horror was like, dude, I'm not watching it. I don't like jump scares. I said, dude, it's suspense thriller. It's not a horror. It's not gory.
Hmm.
It's not, just watch it. Trust me. He texted me last night. He was on episode 4 and he was like a 10:30 at night. He's like, dude, oh my god, me and my wife are watching the show. It's so good, and he's got horrible taste in shows. And if he ever watches this, he'll know because I always give him shit. But anyway, he's like, bro, I should have watched this sooner. It's so good. So please watch it.
I think,
Um,
speaking of good shows and speaking of Netflix,
yeah,
I gave The Burrows a try.
yeah.
Somebody had mentioned it on another group I'm in on Discord, and I'm like, The Burrows, what's that? And they're like, just check it out. It's on Netflix. I really can't explain it, and I can see why they would say that. It is from is it the Duffer Brothers?
Oh, the
I don't
Duffer.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the
The
Duffer
Duffer
brothers.
Brothers. So it's the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things
Hmm.
basically produced this, and it's hard to explain. They're spoofing on the Villages, the retirement community down in Florida, and it's basically called the Burrows. And the Burrows are a retirement community set up in the desert of Arizona.
Hmm.
So what you get is the premise is a man, his wife passes away suddenly. He and her had planned to retire to the Burrows, so he'd already bought into the place. And when he dies, he goes to live with his daughter. his daughter can't stand the fact that he's just grieving so badly over his wife, so she basically sends him off to the burrows a little prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically starts right out of the gate, first episode with a murder by a strange looking creature, and they it just goes from there. It's got elements of horror, it's got elements of kind of like the supernatural, mystery,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a little bit of a Scooby Doo element with a bunch of the old retirees getting together and kind of going out and doing a mystery Inc. type thing where they're trying to find out what's going on as their friends are dying around them strangely. Um, it's really kind of it's a weird mix of a bunch of different genres that works really, really well. My wife and I have already watched the first 3 episodes, and I can't wait for her to get back from her trip so we can watch episode number 4 together because I promised not to watch it without her. So
Mm-hmm.
give The Burrows a look. It's on Netflix now. I think it's doing pretty well. I think it's number 2 or 3 on their streaming platform right now.
Yeah.
But definitely worth a watch if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So,
I've had multiple people tell me about that show as well. It's got Alfred Molina in it, who I really like. He played Doctor Octopus in Spider-Man 2. He's
yeah,
also in another show that I think it's called Three Pines. It is based off a book series where he plays a detective. I think he's a great actor. So
he's
this
he's
show's on
doing
my list
great.
as well.
Yeah, he's the main character in this. It goes by the name of Sam. He's the one whose wife dies, and he's kind of shuffled off to this community.
Mm,
And it just, I mean, right, like I said, right out of the gate, it starts out with a murder mystery, and it just there's so many actors and actresses in this that I grew up watching that are basically in this now as elderly folks. Ed Bexley Jr. is in it. Bill Pullman's in it. Big Williams is in it. There's just Gina Davis is in it. There's just so many people in this movie that you're going to be like, I know who that is.
yeah, the
And
cast list is crazy.
it is crazy. And so many of them are dying. So
Yeah.
um, definitely worth a watch. So give that a look. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments. But
Yep.
that is all I think we have for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a short week for us. Not a lot going on in the way of news and stuff right now.
Yep.
But we will have more things coming next week for you guys as we kind of get back to our regular schedule, so long as life will allow it.
Mm-hmm.
But we hope you enjoyed this podcast. We
Yep.
thank you for sticking with us to the end. Please leave your comments down below. Give us a like. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. And if you would, share this with friends so we can get out there into space and bring more people into the community
Mm-hmm.
and let them know there's a place here for all the weirdness and stuff that we like
Yep.
so that they can share it with us. So thank you for joining us, guys. And until we meet next time back here in the maze, have a great and wonderful weekend.
And happy
Good night,
Father's Day.
everybody.
Bye.
Happy Father's Day to all you dads. Good night.
Later.